Welcome to the Online Success Journey Podcast, your opportunity to discover and learn from entrepreneurs like yourself. This is not your typical podcast, but a place where you can get the real story and find out how real people encounter speed bumps and detours, but journey through to find success. Now here's your host for the Online Success Journey Podcast, Patience.
Welcome to Online Success Journey. This is episode 324. We have a wonderful guest for you today, so make sure you click to subscribe right now and you'll never miss a journey. I post 1 to 2 episodes each week and each guest has a fascinating story to tell. Today we have Vincent Cheng, author of Heal the Source, founder and CEO at Deepening Connections and Vincent Cheng Enterprises, Infinity, coach and therapist. Hello, Vincent.
Hello, Patience. Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
Thank you for coming. My audience are excited to hear your story, but just start by telling us one thing we are going to learn from you today that will help us on our journey to success.
Oh, I think one thing that has really helped me is to really break through what our doubts are, especially when something's uncertain. And has happened so much in my life where I've made choices and decisions that many people have thought, oh, you're absolutely crazy to do something like that. But it was the reason for my success in achieving dreams that I've never thought possible. So I'll definitely share that with all of you today.
Can't wait to hear more about that. But let's get started with the basics. Can you tell my audience a little bit about your background, about what you did before you started your online business?
Wow. I think that might take a couple more podcasts. My life has been very, there's so much variety in it. And, I started off as an electrical engineer. And I worked in the computer chip industry for about 8 years, but I wasn't as fulfilled as I thought I would be. You go through the motions of what you're expected, get the great house, the nice car, a family, good job, but something was missing. And I explored a little bit more about my passions, which was a musician. So I've been a concert pianist as well, and I became a conductor, so I've conducted orchestras, choirs around the world, and still there's something else, there's something deeper. And it led me to explore through life experience how to help people feel more fulfilled and more happy. And it led me to pursue psychotherapy and become a therapist to help people understand themselves and understand myself. And now with this pandemic happening, I lost my entire music career. I couldn't conduct. I couldn't have concerts. I couldn't, teach people how to sing. So I'm like, what can I do? Well, how can I help people? How can I help them more? And so that's how Heal the Source came out. That's how my online business came out, where, I can help them virtually. I can help people heal even if they're not in my office. And so I've discovered a way and really streamlined in the quickest and most efficient way possible how to get people to and help them break through what's blocking them and achieve what they really want in life.
What a background, Vincent. I know you said you wanted to help people, but why do you do what you do?
I think there's this inner reward. There's this joy and spark when you've impacted someone else's life. Here they are coming to you. They have a question and they've been stuck, some of them for decades. And, through a couple of hours and a couple of sessions and taking a program with me, their lives have completely changed. And I don't know if there's any word to describe that feeling of helping someone completely shift their life and they feel so much more happy, more in control in their lives, and able to believe they can achieve something they've always wanted.
Let's put man aside. How do you know you are successful in this new venture?
Well, I would say the feedback. The feedback of the clients and the friends that I've helped and how they have endorsed. Many of them have written testimonials and recorded videos and have told so many people about how they have changed and how I've helped them. And yeah, I am thriving in my business right now and continuing to expand. I hired, 2 more people, this week. Yeah. So, and my team, well, my dear team, I couldn't have done this without them. So, and I've only started the company we just incorporated in March, but I started it last year around the summertime.
What advice would you give people who want to reinvent themselves?
A great question. And I think, to use my own process, it's to, when you're stuck, oftentimes we get discouraged because we don't know. And when we don't know, it's very hard to ask, someone to help, because, we have to deal with our inner emotions of, if I'm asking, does that mean I'm lacking or I'm not good enough? But we have to shift that mindset. If I'm stuck, I want me to succeed. So let's ask someone who can help me. And the basic concept of just asking. Here we have a pandemic saying, you can't do this. You can no longer do this, and this is not working for you. It puts you in a very restrictive place. So what we can do is, by opening into a question and studying so many successful people in this time. I've read so many books. I think in the last year, 100 books, studying how people have pivoted, and what they've done is I could say my good friend Robert Kiyosaki. He says, a statement closes the mind. I can't do this. I don't have a career. I don't have enough money, period. We stop. He says, open it by asking a question. What can I do? How can I move forward? Who can I ask? And once you do that, possibilities exist. You have choice, as opposed to I can't means that's the end. So I encourage, if you want to pivot, is to begin to ask those questions and explore and brainstorm and ask people who have done this, as opposed to listening to the people who can't or have not, and they'll tell you they're not going to do it. So that would be my biggest shift in pivoting, asking the right questions.
As you mentioned, you have been in business for many years. What have you learned from business as a whole?
I've learned to continue always to learn and to continue to grow, that once we get comfortable in a business, our motivations start to dwindle. And in order for us to thrive and be passionate and enjoyable, we have to constantly evaluate where we are at. Are we growing? Are we learning? And that learning process, to enjoy it. And if you're enjoying the process, then you're going to thrive. So I would say that feedback in, hey, everything's great, I'm enjoying my life, I'm growing, would be the progress and process of a great business.
What is the most dangerous belief an entrepreneur can have?
I don't think it can work. I don't believe I can do this. I think the dangerous belief is self-doubt. And on top of that, to add that layer, is the doubt of believing the doubt of others and opinions. I think a lot of what I've learned too, it's very difficult to be an entrepreneur because we're not taught how to really have our own beliefs. We're always influenced and conditioned by everything around us. News, media, parents, teachers, governments, and that when have we really sat down and said, this is truly what I believe and I want for myself? And once someone says, I don't know, that's not a great idea, almost without second thought, we believe that. Oh yeah, it really? Can you tell me why? Oh, and that's where the doubt happens. So that would be the biggest danger, to be aware of the doubts and opinions that set you backwards.
How do you make yourself get back on track when something goes wrong?
I would say, and I would add, that's part of my Heal the Source program, is to be able to acknowledge the emotional impact that when something does go wrong, what's going on with me? How do I feel? Because oftentimes we are, conditioned to stop feeling, avoid this feeling of I failed or I made a mistake and just move on. But that actually, you miss a great learning lesson to support ourselves. So I would say, really acknowledge, hey, where am I at? I've made a mistake or something goes wrong. What do I really need right now? And really deep down ask that question. Is it emotional support? Is it to talk to someone and say, hey, I'm not going through something? And then when you feel ready, all right, let's go into resource mode. What can I do? How can I learn? What can I do best to learn and grow from this setback? And then focus on the why. Why are you doing this? Well, I want to help millions of people. I want to feel fulfilled. Okay, that's how I'll get back on track. Focus on the why.
What is the most valuable thing you have ever given away?
That's a deep question. I think a lot of times people think value is, related to something financial or monetary, but we want to talk about value in terms of something that you cannot put a price on. And two things come to mind. One is time, and the other is just deep influence and impact through experience of knowledge. I think most valuable thing I can give is the wisdom of my own experience in my life. Yeah, that has helped people just transform and have a deep impact.
What is one thing that has contributed to your success?
I think it's the belief in myself that no matter what, my determination, my focus on doing the best that I can, no matter what. And, I guess in a few words is I just don't give up on myself, ever.
What are you still doing in the way you work that you just know you have to stop doing?
I would say overgiving, overextending myself. As someone who really wants to help, oftentimes I do it to the sacrifice of my own needs or my own health. Yeah, there were times where I was working 14 hours, seeing clients, helping them, therapy, coaching them, and that I forgot how to eat. I'd have very little sleep. And so that's a constant challenge of mine. And it's understanding my own conditioning, that I'm of value, I'm of worth when I'm helping others only, that I forget that I have worth when I help myself as well. So it's this constant balance to, be who I am and to give myself what I need, my time, as well as helping others.
Tell my audience about the magic moment, the day it suddenly all went right for you.
I think it's when I made a decision that was so ridiculous, which was retiring from my engineering job and booking a one-way ticket to Berlin, Germany. So I'm based in Canada. I booked a one-way ticket, left everything behind. I sold most of my possessions. And you can see how terrifying that might be, to just leave everything behind. But before I landed, I got my dream contract just handed to me almost to conduct an opera in Berlin, in France. It's a miracle, but it took me to take such a huge risk. And I knew right then and there I made the right decision, and I know and I trust I can find my way through anything.
Wow. Did you have any connections in Berlin before you just booked a ticket and left your belongings behind?
Absolute zero.
Huh?
No one. I knew no one. I didn't even have an apartment, but I was willing to crawl on my hands and knees and beg on the street if I have to, because I wanted to achieve this dream of conducting the Berlin Philharmonic. That I'm like, I'll do whatever it takes. I don't need much. And what influenced me was Herbert von Karajan, I watched his DVD, and he actually inspired me to make this decision. His dream was to conduct the Berlin Phil, and he did it barely affording bread. So I'm like, if he can do that, what am I doing holding on to all these luxuries here? If I want to do this, I got to leave it. And I made that decision. And it's funny how the universe works, how this, all these alignments happen. 2 weeks before, a conductor from Berlin contacts my teacher here in Toronto, asks him, hey, do you want to collaborate? Maybe I can do some concerts in Toronto and you can come here to Berlin. And then he says, hold on a second. My student is coming to Berlin. I don't know, maybe you can help him settle in, maybe find an apartment or whatnot. He's like, yeah, of course. You know what? We're going to France for a festival. He can live in my place for 2 weeks. And then he says, not only that, I'm actually in search of an assistant conductor for an opera I'm doing. Can he send his resume? Okay. My jaw was dropped for, I don't know, a week. Right? 2 weeks before I flew, I had nothing. I knew no one. And here, it's you call it a miracle, but I had to put myself in the space for that miracle to happen. And very few people are willing to do that because, hey, that's a huge risk. You just give up everything. But I found that is a road to success. That is a skill that we can learn. And, reading all these books and this analogy of burning the ships to take the island. There's no more burning ships than booking a one-way ticket and selling everything, right?
Wow. What did your friends, I know your teacher was supporting you, but did you tell the family or did any of your friends know what you're doing? I bet they were like, you're crazy.
Oh, you can definitely imagine the response. I probably don't have to tell you. All of them were just, they couldn't understand. They're like, this is absolutely insane. Why would you give up a 6-figure, cushy job, and you have a house, you're living a good life? Even my family, they're like, I don't know. Do you have anything there? I'm like, I have nothing. What's your plan B? What's your plan C? What's your plan D? Oh, don't forget, everything, you can come back. You can always have your engineering. I'm like, and I guess I've always been very, my mind works very fast. And I said, hey, Mom and Dad, you did the same thing, didn't you? You took off from Hong Kong as a high school student, one-way ticket to Canada to learn and study at university. You did the same thing. What's wrong with me? And they're like, okay, yeah, no, that's true. Like, you had to, go to take these restaurant jobs, serving at the coffee shops. They did whatever they did because they wanted something better for themselves, for their family, for their future. And here I am doing the same thing.
Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
What grounds you?
What grounds me? Oh, that's a whole nother dimension to my life. I've always been very deeply inquisitive about the human condition, which is why I am studying. I studied to be a therapist, but before that, I'm so driven by the why. Why do people turn on each other? Why do people feel sad all the time? Why do people, and asking these questions, I started reading. And ultimately, I asked myself, why am I so depressed? Why am I not happy with my life, even though I have achieved 10 times what most people do? But I'm still unhappy. Why did Robin Williams take his own life? At the height of his career, doing millions of dollars and impacting billions of people. Why? So that question drove me to go deeper. And and my constant quest to go deeper is what led to Heal the Source, to understand why behavior, emotions, mindset, thinking. So I read books, and not only that, this dimension of spirituality. Why do people have different religions? What is that purpose? So I went studying. I went and joined all these different groups, learned meditation and read books on Zen meditation. I'm like, oh, this is really, really fascinating. I like this philosophy of, what is and attachment. And so I studied that and began to practice deeper meditation and various techniques. Because for me, I'm a very introverted person, even though, I conduct and speak for thousands, but I like to be alone. And in that alone time, I get this sense of, I know who I am. I know what I do. What grounds me is this rethinking or just reevaluating. What do I need? As opposed to what does everybody need of me? Yeah, so what grounds me is going to the lake as I did this morning. It's my morning routine. Just sitting there, being grateful.
Do you have mentors in your business?
Oh, I have many mentors. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 mentors.
Wow.
In different categories. And I think that would be one of the advice for success. Get a mentor. It's a must. And my mentor, Jerry Robert, he's the one who changed my life in one session. He got me from, making, just $100 an hour to 10 times that, 100 times that, with just talking to me in a certain way and instilling a belief, which transformed my business. Ultimately, we want to profit in our business in order to help more people. But that had to shift. So just having someone who's, done that for 35 years, their expertise and mentorship in one sentence can change your life. And so, I have 5 mentors. I have a spiritual mentor, I have a business mentor, I have a therapy mentor. Yeah. And I even have a, health mentor. I actually, because of my habits, I've gone through many things, rock bottoms, even in the past few years, that my health suffered so significantly. I couldn't walk and I went into the hospital, and they actually did scans and they found a 3-centimeter mass in my abdomen that they thought, well, is it cancer? They thought that it's something dire. And I knew I was in trouble. And the hospital said, well, we have to keep you here. We got to open you up and see what it is. But I'm like, I can't do that. You're not sure? I don't want you just to open me up. I'm so thankful that I had this healing mentor that, he does his own work, but he's the only person who was able to help me. And through going to him, he's teaching me how to eat, his name's Gary Thibault. He healed me. He taught me how to heal myself. And without our health, it doesn't matter how much money we have, how big our business is, doesn't matter. So health is so important. And I think that's part of my journey and sharing, because how often do we invest in our health, not just physical, but mental? So mentors. They're, as Jerry Robert would say, mentor shaves decades into days for you.
What is one thing no one knows about you?
I'm a typical Asian guy. I play video games and I play card games, and I play them pretty well. I enter tournaments, and I enjoy. I joined a race car driving league. F1 go-karts that go up to 80 miles an hour. So, wow, yeah, I would say my hobbies of fun that aren't as typical. You think, oh, here's an entrepreneur, he just does music. No, I can have fun too.
Wow. Where do you find all this time?
That's my next book. Oh, that's my next book. Oh, sorry, I have a sixth mentor. She's my, I just signed on with her, my business strategist to brand, to really understand who I am. And she's the one who said, hey, you have a different skill. You're able to master anything you put your mind to. And part of this is, where do I have all this time to do this? I think underlying, there's a process in my mind that's going to go into the book, how to be as time efficient and productive as possible. So here, Heal the Source is like a 90-day program where I've distilled 10 years of therapy and coaching and mentorship and spirituality into 90 days so that it gets people instantly to where they really want to be. It doesn't have to take 5 years. I mean, we only live on this earth a limited time. Time is the most precious asset that we have. So knowing how to manage it and how to schedule in a certain way, this will have, okay, I'm always looking to be more efficient. It's like the Japanese people. They have a machine that self-pours beer. It tilts it. I've seen it. I was just shocked that, well, if the beer can pour itself, well, think about what the waitress can do for that other, minute. Well, she can probably take 3 more orders so that's something that's really key here. And time management, which I've learned and continue to perfect as I go along.
Let's talk about your book. Tell us more about it.
Okay, well, Heal the Source is a concept that came up during the pandemic as a result of asking questions. Well, I'm stuck. What can I do? How can I help more people? Well, seeing people one-to-one, 1 hour, one person. How can I help more? And my mentor, Jerry, says, write a book. A book can reach millions of people. And through that book reaching millions, then I can speak, I can talk about and teach them concepts that will help them. So the book is all about understanding your own self a little bit better. And the biggest thing is we're always stuck. We always have resistance in our lives. How often do we take a moment to evaluate, to look at it, to reflect on it? And underneath all of that, why we are resistant is because there's a fear, there's a stress. And this book talks about how we can master our fear by understanding the motivations behind it, which is the source. If we know the source of our fear, now we have all the power. Now we have the pathway. Now we have choice. But oftentimes what we think we're afraid of, we either want to avoid it or think that it's just this on the surface. But if we go a little bit deeper, and that's what I found in the patterns and how I've been able to help people so quickly, is because we go to the source. But to go to the source is not easy. You just jump into this deep end. But those who are courageous and commit to that, that's where the biggest transformations happen. And so this book talks about all of these concepts. I teach something called the lack state versus the have state, and how we're conditioned in our society that we're always in lack. We're so easy to find a fault within us, a mistake. We didn't do this well enough. You should be better. I'm not good enough. I can't do this. And how often do we recognize and celebrate, hey, you woke up today. You're living, You do have a job. You do have a family. You do have food on the table. What's that energy like? So it teaches us how to balance those two and to be aware that, are we dominated by a lack state most of our lives? And if we are, no wonder we're not really getting what we really want.
Where can we find this book and how can we connect with you?
Okay, so you can all go to www.healthesource.com, and it's almost ready to be published. The book is going to come out next year, early next year. The date is set for February 22nd, 2022, so 222-2022. I love numbers as well. But in the meantime, we're going to set up ways you can pre-order. I also have a bundle where if you buy the bundle, you pre-order, you get the free e-copy of the book, as well as, a free session with me, just to get, hey, if you want to talk about what's blocking you, you want to work with me more. We have what I call the Win Journal that we're going to release. The Win Journal helps to build your confidence, and that's how it changed my life. When you're confident, then you feel like you can achieve anything. And you're going to take bigger risks. You're going to feel more energized and motivated. So visit the website. There's also vincentcheng.ca. And feel free to email me at vincent@healthesource.com. And I look forward to talking more. We're here. We're in some tough times now, and why not help each other? Why not collaborate?
Are you on any social media?
Yes, I am. I have my Instagram, Vincent Cheng Enterprises. The same thing for my Facebook, Vincent Cheng Enterprises, and LinkedIn as well. So feel free to reach out. Facebook is a great way.
Thank you. There will be more from Vincent in a moment. If you are listening to this on a podcasting platform and you are encouraged by Vincent's journey, please go to our website at onlinesuccessjourney.com. The site has tons of audio clips from hundreds of successful entrepreneurs' guests' journeys, all there to help you find a path to your own online success journey. The site offers exclusive members-only content, and you can join absolutely free and be part of this amazing online success community today. Check it out. That's onlinesuccessjourney.com. Now, Vincent, I would love for you to share more with my audience if you are up for it.
Sure.
Thank you. Do you watch movies or read books?
Both. I love both. I love movies. You ask my brothers, they probably think I'm just out of this world, because I recommend movies to them. I'm like, this is the best movie ever. This is the best movie ever. And they watch it and they say, this is the worst movie ever. But I love them. There's just art in every movie, every film, and books. My walls are filled with books, and I read one, I reread them. It's part of my success journey, reading and more knowledge and applying that knowledge. So absolutely, I love both.
I'm going to take books because you mentioned your brothers. Every time you recommend a movie, they say it's the worst. So I'm going to go with books.
I get that. Fair enough.
Tell us, what is your favorite book that has some relevance to being an entrepreneur?
I think many will agree. It's Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Another mentor who I've followed and taken a lot of his classes is Bob Proctor. And he said he's been reading this same book every day for 40 years or more than that, 51 years or something like that. And I put that practice. It's at my bedside. I read something of it every day. It talks about faith and persistence, desires, how determination. That book for an entrepreneur is a must.
If your business was down to its last $100, how would you invest it?
I think half or not more of that would be investing into a mentor, saying, I have $100, that's all I have, and how can you help me? I'm in this situation that I've never been in before. Have you been in it? And how did you get through? Well, you take that $100, and that knowledge will help me get out of or rebuild.
Give one quote that would impact someone's life who's listening today.
Stan Lee. If you have a great idea, don't let some idiot talk you out of it. And he said that when he was creating Spider-Man.
If you are going to keep a note to yourself in your pocket every day, what would be written on it?
Constant affirmation of who I am and what I'm here to do and my goal. I am influencing and impacting millions of people for their highest good.
What is your next chapter?
My chapter in my life? I guess expanding, trying to reach more people, experience more of life. Now that I have the resources to do it because I can build it. I've built it. I never thought I would be here last year. So next chapter is experience more, expand more, grow more.
Do you feel like you succeeded or like you're only on the way?
I think that the definition of success is constantly evolving or changing even. And I would say, yes, I've succeeded in so many different areas in my life at those times. And I've succeeded in a certain time right now. But I know that I have more. I want to succeed more in these areas. So I would say success means I'm really satisfied and I'm happy and I'm fulfilled in my life right now, which I am.
Will you ever stop?
I don't think that's in my nature. And everybody who knows me, like if I stop, that means I'm questioning. Maybe if I'm stopping, I'm questioning where I need to go next. But no, I don't stop until I don't stop until I stop breathing.
Remind us how we can connect with you.
Yes, my website or my email, vincent@healthesource.com, same as the website, www.healthesource.com. It's so awesome to be on this journey with you, and thank you for this opportunity.
Vincent, it's been great to have you to share your online success journey with us.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Remember, success is a journey. Don't wait. Let's start the journey. Patience and Vincent.
This is not the end of the journey. We hope you've enjoyed listening to Patience and her guest and want you to know there are hundreds of episodes available at onlinesuccessjourney.com. Patience would like to thank you for listening to the podcast, and she has a free gift for you on her website, including an audio compilation of her guests' best tips, uplifting stories, and even a bit of fun. Additionally, there are special clips of over 250 episodes that have never aired on the podcast, and they're only available to members of the Online Success Journey. Check the website and click on Join Now to get free and instant access. Of course, you know that listening to the journeys of others helps each of us chart our own path. So make sure you're subscribed on your favorite platform to be notified as each new interview is posted. There are so many ways to stay connected to the Online Success Journey and listen in. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we appreciate your help in telling others. One of the best ways to share the benefit you get is to rate and review the podcast at iTunes and other sites. We appreciate your help and your willingness to share your journey. One last thing. If you're feeling a bit lost or overwhelmed on your own journey, Patience can help. Check out her course on clarity while you're at the website. Finding clarity is a great way to get back on the right path. On behalf of Patience, and until next time, thanks once more for listening. It is our hope that this podcast will guide you on your own online success journey.